Hello aspirants, looking at editorials and question bank for 16th December. The first editorial in the Hindu newspaper is A Law for Equality. So this is regarding the news that we discussed yesterday, Rights of Persons with Disabilities Bill, which Rajya Sabha has passed and Lok Sabha is to pass this bill now, so that's pending. So this bill was initiated scrapping the former 1993 Rights to Persons with Disabilities Act because India had ratified the UN Convention in 2007, UN Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So this mandated that we have improved provisions for the disabled in the country. So this new bill is appreciated on many counts. We discussed them yesterday too. One is regarding expansion of the number of disabilities from 7 to 21. So this is one aspect. Even increase in the reservation for them from 3 to 4% in government jobs, 3 to 5% in higher education institutions. So that is also appreciated. The next regarding number of diseases further can be increased also. So that is government is given this power to notify additional disabilities also under this act. So that would be beneficial. Plus multiple disabilities, one of the 21 which is added is important because these are the most disadvantaged section amongst the disabled. So they have multiple disabilities, not just one. So they have to be given special provisions. So that is also recognized. Then next is regarding the relaxation of upper age limit for primary and higher education. So there is an age limit provided. So this is relaxed for disabled. So this will be important because the delay which is there in the disabled entering into formal schools can be taken care of through this relaxation. Then one more is regarding incentives for private sectors to hire disabled candidates. So that is also appreciated. Then another point which is highlighted is there are two aspects highlighted. One is regarding that which jobs can the disabled undertake and which they cannot. That has to be decided, but there should be sensitivity on this aspect because presently it is seen that with new technology which is available, even the disabled can undertake many tasks which were earlier considered difficult. So this has to be taken into consideration when deciding which sectors, which tasks are not to be opened up for the disabled. And another point which it says is regarding the Statutory Disabilities Commission, which was recommended but not finally passed in this bill. That is a step back. So that is a lost opportunity, it says. So if there would be a Statutory Disabilities Commission, it would function like we have statutory commissions, constitutional commissions for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes. On human rights, we have a commission. So that would be a disabilities commission too, but this has not taken place. Then the next editorial in the Hindu newspaper is Well-Oiled Diplomacy. So this is regarding the chief executive of oil and gas multinational company ExxonMobil, the American-based company which has operations in various countries, even in Russia. It has a huge stake. So this ExxonMobil chief Rex Tillerson has been nominated as the Secretary of State by Donald Trump, the US President-elect, and this appointment has to be approved by the Senate. Only then it is confirmed. So presently it's saying that ExxonMobil is US largest oil company. That is true. It has made huge investments in over 52 countries over 6 continents. But then there is messy geopolitics in play also. It has faced flack in many cases because of lack of transparency in its functionings, how it deals with the governments. There's an example of Nigeria when its dealings with the government were questioned because there was no transparency on the matter. So these issues, plus also the issue with respect to Russia, that is very close to the Russian President Vladimir Putin to Rex Tillerson. Plus also this oil giant has various stakes in Russia as well. So this complicates the matter because US-Russia relations are not amicable. Then how would it go forward with the Secretary of State which is pro-Russia? So that is there. So ExxonMobil since 2006 has signed huge number of drilling agreements with Russian oil giants. Even the Russian oil giant Rosneft has had many deals with it. So then how will this, balancing of his private sector interests and his office, a public post which he'll be acquiring, how will this be balanced is the major question. So we'll see how his confirmation at the Senate, how does it take place, what questions would he be asked, because they are bound to be asked questions as about Russian hacking also, the news which came forth that Donald Trump's winning election was through even hacking. The Russian authorities hacked the American systems to help Donald Trump win presidential elections. So such allegations have also come forth. Even CIA has revealed such information. So then there is a need for investigating in this matter too, and what Donald Trump has of course refuted such claims. So we have to look into that aspect too. So ExxonMobil oil assets are also there in India, on Indian soil too. So how he will be there, how will he be beneficial for India, that also we'll have to wait and watch. Then the next editorial is the Indian Express editorial. This is unreasonable diktat. So this is regarding Haryana government. It initiated an order saying that within a week, means this was on December 2, the order initiated. It says within a week the government officials, all government officials should conduct at least one digital transaction and submit certificates of compliance. So this order has been criticized. The employees unions have come up against this. They said they were not even taken into confidence before initiating such an order. So of course it is understood Haryana government wants to be pro cashless economy the way central government is taking initiatives, but then this is not the right way. That is highlighted because even the employees say that all employees may not have smartphones, all employees may not be aware of how to undertake these digital transactions, how to download these apps, banking apps, UPI apps, Unified Payment Interface of National Payment Corporation of India. So all these, they are not aware of all these initiatives. They are also having fears about the digital transactions and the risks involved. So how can the government impose this order on them that they have to do this? So that is being questioned. Plus it says that this initiative is unrealistic and draconian. The central government has taken initiatives of providing incentives, of providing this lucky draw, to attracting people and making willingly they undertake digital transactions is the right way ahead. You cannot enforce it on people. So that is what it wants to say. The next editorial in the Indian Express newspaper is regarding the Catholic Church policy of Dalit empowerment, a document which was put forth recently. In this it has said that there is discrimination against Dalits even in Christians. So Christians converts, Dalits who convert to Christianity, even after conversion they have that tag staying with them and there are discriminations against them. So this point is important because in India, once you have converted from Hinduism to any other religion, then your Dalit tag is no longer with you. You are no longer a Dalit and you will not get the reservations, the benefits which are there for Dalits. So this has been challenged many a times because it is said that this is a social institution. Caste is a social institution, not a religious institution. It is based on birth and lineage. It is not based on what religion you are to and what occupation you are following. So that is not what decides caste. So then how with change in religion this changes? So that question has been put forth. So conversion need not necessarily allow a person to escape caste discrimination. So this is again which has been questioned many times. This argument has been put forth. This report released again highlights this issue. So again it has come to the fore. So convert continues to be marked by his caste even in the new religion. So that is seen even in Christians, Muslims, that the SC/ST status is not conferred on them, but Dalit tag which is there with them is still prevalent. So let's see if the government provides this status even after convergence. But that is difficult, they may not. So these are the issues in the editorials. Next we look at the question bank. The lead article in today's newspaper is regarding Syria and a war in Aleppo. You are aware of it. We have discussed it quite often in news. It is the war between the Syrian government, Bashar al-Assad government supported by Russia, and the rebels who are against the Syrian government supported by USA. So such actions which are taken, the rebels supported by USA give them the power and the arms as well too. So this is questioned because US intervention in various countries is seen as resulting in catastrophe in these regions. So we have seen US intervening in Syria presently, it has done so in Afghanistan, it has done so in Iraq. The countries are in a mess presently. So what would be India's stand on such matters? So that is being questioned. So India needs to take a high moral ground and ethical stand. But then that's what, looking into geopolitical considerations, India takes stance. So of course ethics of common people too, when we hear about these news about the atrocities and the sufferings which these people face, it becomes a routine for people as well. So we just brush through them. So what are our ethical concerns of the people too in this matter? That is question. So that again, if we know about the news and what are all the issues involved, then ethics related aspects you can write answers. There's no points or as such which can be given to write ethics answers. It comes from your heart, from how you think, and you write down with that conviction rather than writing big phrases or something which will fetch you marks. That will not be the case. So anyway, the next question, the question which I have framed is on cybersecurity. This is the transition of India towards becoming a cashless society needs to effectively counter cybersecurity concerns. Elucidate. So a similar question we had also done in November. So on 22 November in question bank and 30th November in question bank, we have discussed about cashless economy, questions on that, and how cybersecurity concerns are affecting is on 30th November too. So pros and cons were discussed, cybersecurity concerns were also discussed. So this is another article in adding up to those points which we have already discussed. So this article talks about the number of cyber attacks which have increased even in India and internationally. So India's IT infrastructure is under threat. So first we need to strengthen that IT infrastructure before talking about cashless economy and encouraging digital transactions. So there are high level attacks too which take place. Even the Twitter accounts of Indian National Congress, various industrialists like Vijay Mallya, they were hacked, and the group which takes responsibility for this is a group called Legion. So this Legion group has claimed that it has access to over 40,000 servers in India. So it has the encryption keys and certificates. So these encryption keys and certificates are used by Indian banks to confirm that they are authentic. So if this is compromised, then the people who unwittingly, without having the knowledge, if they enter their information in these websites, fake websites which are created, then it would result in them revealing their entire details, the login and the password details to these groupings, and then they have complete access over the accounts. So it's very important that cyber security infrastructure is put in place first. So these SSL certificates are used. You must have seen them. This is secure socket layer certificate. It is this green strip which comes forth. So this is for all important websites which have a huge hit, means number of visits are high. So these have this SSL server, a layer which is there. So this is for validation. So this validation, this padlock which is called, if this padlock is activated, it means that the browser connection and the server which is connected to it is secure. So then it is a indication of safeguarding security. But even if Legion has also claimed that this SSL server has also come under them, so they have gained access to SSL server. So if something like that happens, then Indian banks websites can easily be used by them. So such safeguards should also be brought in, that they are not able to enter into these important security layers as well. So how to take care of this is a question. Internationally also we have seen various attacks, like this was Stuxnet. The Stuxnet was a cyber weapon which is said to be, it is not accepted. US, Israel don't accept it, but they jointly developed this cyber weapon which will slow down Iranian nuclear centrifuges. So during the Iran nuclear crisis, when Iran was developing nuclear weapons, and before the deal which has come forth, Iran nuclear deal, before that this Stuxnet attack took place, and it used a zero-day exploit. Now what is this zero-day exploit? Zero-day exploit means that the computer security is vulnerable. So there is some loophole through which it can be accessed, and the developer is not aware of this loophole. So before the developer becomes aware, the attack takes place. So that is called 0th day attack or 0-day exploit, because 0th day is the day when the developer becomes aware. So before that, whatever happens is called 0-day. So that is how this term has come forth. So the 0-day exploit was done through this Stuxnet, jointly developed by US and Israel. So it falsified the digital certificates in this Iranian nuclear centrifuge software, and it allowed it to run in Windows operating system, and because of it they could get all the details. So this attack which took place, a 0-day threat, which is also been exploited by this Legion group, is a threat for India as well. So we need software glitches first of all to be coming forth. The technical experts should be aware of them. They should discover them on time before they are attacked. So their work needs to be done on those aspects too. And once, if these cyber attacking groups, they get hold of these 0-day threats and they attack the software and get in all the details, then they can sell it to other companies. So that is how they also function. So this rivals or rival governments, etc., to criminals as well, this is sold off. So this is how these cyber attackers work. So India needs to strengthen its cyber security infrastructure. The trust in digital transactions has to be built, and that will be built once the cyber security is ensured. So government first of all has to ensure its own mail servers are well protected, because Legion has claimed in an interview that the next attack will be on government's mail servers. So then how will the government take care of this? Also this helps in espionage too. So mail sending, the government, all the details, how the whatever is work is going on can be known. So that is like jasusi. Espionage means that. So disruptive attacks can be done. Recently we also heard of US presidential elections. That was also attacked. That system was attacked by Russia to help Donald Trump win election. So if such things can take place, cyber attacks can take place. This is new stage, new era warfare. So wars undertaken through this. So government also has to be well in place. So we need to strengthen this. The National Informatics Center which we have, this hosts the government's mail servers. So NIC has to be strengthened. It should be made sure that it has two-factor authentication. This was also not there for long. This has recently been brought in, that two-factor authentication takes place whenever users access it. So this is very important, that authentication is strengthened so that such attacks are negated. Also another is regarding National Cyber Security Coordinator. So this has been appointed in 2014. So this will help in coordinating about cyber security related concerns. Plus there is CERT-in, Computer Emergency Response Team. So this is very much understaffed. So there is a need to strengthen it to ensure that India is cyber secure. This is there. So even with respect to people too, we have discussed this earlier too, that mobile apps, when you download and after the download you allow it to have automatic updates. So in these automatic updates many malware can also be installed, and that would, without the knowledge of the user, can result in huge amount of information being taken away. So all these aspects are a threat. So it is very much essential that we are aware. So when you are doing digital transactions, you having banking mobile apps on your mobiles too, then how will you take care of these aspects? Because generally when you download apps, we have discussed a whole article on this. That's what I said. This is the November 30 article. So this discuss the whole thing. So in such cases, then how will you safeguard yourself and your banking details from attacks? So this is regarding the Stuxnet too, how it works. So it enters a system via USB stick, and all machines running on Microsoft Windows are under it. It gives a separate digital certificate that seems that it is coming from an authentic source, and then it starts searching the entire system, get all the updates, send it over to the other computer. Compromise takes place. It has taken over all the details, and then it is remotely controlled. So then it can result in destruction of them too through remote control. So this entire high-end cyber attack took place in Iran by US and Israel. So these are two other questions which I have already discussed. You can go through these articles too. So that is it for today. Thank you.